All right, welcome everybody to week 2. How'd you like week 1?
Didn't.
It was a little confusing at first.
Yes. Okay. And what made it confusing?
Mostly just all the steps and trying to figure out how Dreamweaver really works.
Okay. And that is why you guys notice I'm not punishing for late grades. Because this is a whole different train of thought. Did you guys notice how your normal design steps, they work, but there's a lot of itty-bitty steps in between, isn't there?
Yes.
So this is why I'm very patient with this class. And you guys have, please do not hesitate to contact me, okay? And then again, on Sunday, I will have another open class, which is basically a free-for-all class. Come in and get help. Now, if you guys have questions tonight, I'm going to be going over a lot of it again. Tomorrow night, we'll go to the second step. This way, the repetitiveness, and also, because I know there were some questions, this didn't work at this point. Why? Well, we'll be going over some of that tonight. All right. So before we start, does anybody have any specific questions?
Yes.
Okay.
The files that you were going to send from last week, have you sent them out?
Just before class. I just sent them, actually.
Okay, I'll have to look.
So I do apologize I didn't get them out. I saw that tonight and realized, oops. So I do apologize. They didn't hurt you from last week, but they will help from this point forward.
Loki, are we going to do any critiquing tonight?
What?
Last week's work?
No.
Dang.
Okay. What do you want the critique on is the question.
See how bad I screwed up?
You guys didn't screw up very bad at all. You did mostly, okay. I'm going to tell you guys the thing with this class. If you're close, you're getting the idea. This is why I repeat and repeat and repeat. The thing with Dreamweaver is close, if it looks right, there's more than one way to do it. I can change the code in 3 different places and get the same outcome. Does that make sense?
It does, but like I could do the 1024 no problem.
Okay.
Sorry, I just spit on myself. Anyway, but the 768, I had the hardest time because when I go to like on the blue box up underneath the banner.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to it was the banner when we was trying to do where the guy on the lawnmower has his axe and all that.
Right.
I was trying to put the wording to the right like it was supposed to, and when I put the words, all that, no problem. Put the button, and it would mess up the picture every time.
Okay. And I have a feeling what happened there. What I'm going to do instead of that, because each individual, there's no, like I said, there's 3 or 4 different ways to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over from the beginning again. And now that you guys have played with it, now you can start to see. And then when we get to that point, I'm going to have you guys help walk me through certain parts. And this is where, does that make sense, where I'm going to do it rather than a critique? I'm going to have you actually participate.
Yeah, because it's like in the field training.
Huh?
It's kind of like in the field training.
Exactly. And with this program, I have found that if I could critique all day long. It's a matter of repetition to get down section by section by section. And every page you do is going to have differently named sections. So if I were to sit there and give you a critique, the next page you do is not going to help. Now, if I have you sit there and walk through it with me, it will help a lot. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because I've tried the critiques, and yeah, it tells you what you did, where your mistake was, but it doesn't quite help because you try fixing that mistake on the next page. Again, it's a different name section, and it doesn't work. All right, Jordan, can you hear me? Jordan. Okay, I guess Jordan's not hearing me. Okay, Jordan.
I'm here.
Oh, okay, there you are. That time it came through. Zoom's been acting weird today, so this is why I'm making sure that you guys can each hear me. A couple instructors were kicked out 5 or 6 times during their classes today, so. All right. So, remember we're using Adobe CC 2018 for this class. If you're not updated, I need to know, and we'll do what we can to get you updated. All right, so for week 1, make sure to review my feedback in the rubric. And as we go over this tonight, you'll start to understand a little more of what I was talking about on the feedback. It's information to help you out. Take the chance to re-accomplish it, fix it, and then resubmit it, because your grade will go up and you'll get more practice with the program. Read the remarks in the sections as well. Make sure that your posts are less than 20% copied, which this class, the 1 and 2, I have not seen that as an issue, so you guys are doing great. Make sure that you have at least 1 reference. Notice we no longer say APA reference. As long as you put a link down there, that's what we care about. We're trying to get away from focusing on, well, you didn't write that correctly, but yet you got the information correct. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And don't use text speak in discussions. I haven't seen that as an issue. And Wikipedia is not an acceptable reference. And I haven't seen that either. So the biggest part here, you guys are doing great, okay? It's just a matter of step by step, also knowing which files to submit. The biggest issue I had with people that submitted stuff and got a 0 was they did one of 2 things. They submitted the main stuff, the main files. Hi, Raquel. Can you go ahead and try your mic? I hear some noise there. You can't do your mic? How come? Okay, I lost you there. Can you still hear me? Okay, because I can hear you typing. That's why I'm saying your mic works, at least, if that was the reasoning. If not, okay. Because I do prefer everybody to talk and help, because it's a lot easier than looking back and forth on the discussion. And it saves time, helps everybody out. But I lost her. If you can't, that's fine. If there's another reason, just let me know. Okay. And like I said, I think we lost her. Oh, there you are. You're still in there. Good. All right. So if I miss the chat in there, please let me know. All right. Are there any more questions before we start then?
None here.
I'm good.
I have a non-related question.
Fire.
What type of cat is Macy?
Macy's a Siamese.
She's beautiful.
Thank you. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is talk about what is expected this week. Then we'll get into the work. The learning objectives: define steps to achieve a good user experience in a website. All right, remember last week we talked about user interface, UI, correct?
Yes.
What is the user interface?
User interface is UI, right?
Interface is what they use to view it on.
Okay, you're both on the right path. Yes, UI is a user interface. User interface, the easiest way that I have found to explain it to everybody, any way that the person interacts with the program. Mouse, buttons, keyboard, stylus, touch screen, buttons on the screen, what they read, any way they interact with it is the user interface. User experience, the UX, how they feel when they walk away. Could be good or bad, but it's how they feel, okay? So we're going to create a mock-up for a website, define and apply an efficient workflow, structure a page with HTML, create a grid layout with CSS, create a responsive layout with CSS. Guess what? We've been doing that from week 1. So you guys are already ahead here, and that helps. All right, so next, the discussion. Define steps to achieve a good user experience. Have you ever been to a site and you've said, wow, how cool, but when you tried to interact with it or navigate to get more info, you can't figure out the navigation system and leave? Well, just because a website has a wow factor design-wise, it can still fail as a good website. Same goes for a site that has clear navigational and content presentations, but the site is so boring or nondescript, you may pass it on because it didn't capture your attention to look further for the information. There are many factors involved making a website a good website. Last week, we explored what parameters were required for a good user interface when viewing a website on a mobile device. This week, we'll explore what considerations need to be evaluated when designing a website to not only capture the user's attention, but keep them on the site and possibly become a customer. All right, and then you'll watch that short video. All right, so that being said, here's what the prompt is. You, the student, will be the test market for this discussion. Find 3 sites that you feel are good websites and 3 sites you feel fail as a good website. Include a link to each of these sites. Now, you're going to have, based on that, 6 different links. Those links are not your reference. The reference is what you're using to back up why you say they're good or bad. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
I do now. I have to change a few things on my discussion.
Okay? Because, yeah, you could sit there and say it's good or bad, but that's just opinion. But when you bring forth a citation, that's where it comes in to say, all right, because of what I learned in this research, this is why I feel these are good or bad. And you could even put more than one reference. It's up to you. But like I said, for a reference, you only need to put the link if that's all you want. So it's up to you on how to do that. All right. That's the discussion. Assignment. Create a mock-up for a website and define and apply an efficient workflow. Okay, we'll get into that. And I haven't changed out the rubrics yet. I'll do that tonight. As somebody pointed out last week, thank you for doing that. I had the wrong rubric up all week, the one that was actually in the class, and it didn't match the directions. So you notice the ones that I put up fit what we were doing a little more. And the information I just sent you, like I said, will help this week because we're having quizzes. All right, are there any questions before we continue? All right.
Right now.
Okay. Let's see. No problem, Misty. I can understand kids talking. And, oh, you were working on discussion. Okay, no problem, Raquel. All right, so let's bring up Dreamweaver. Okay, we're going back to the beginning again. Now, like I said, there were two things that people got marked down to a 0 for. One of them, you submitted the wrong files. You zipped the original files and submitted them instead of your working files. Easy fix. And you're not getting points taken off once you resubmit, okay? 2, the other thing is you only sent the index page. If you send the index page, everything you worked on did not come with it because it's all those files in that folder. You have to submit the whole root folder. Does that help everybody understand a little more what to submit?
Yes.
Okay. Now, and as you can see, this is all the stuff. So what I'm going to do, we're going to go back to Mod 9 and the class, and I'm going to erase everything. Copy it all. Paste it back. All right, let's put that up there. Come over here and refresh. Why are we starting over, Raquel? Okay, the reason we're starting over, a couple of them. One, repetition. The more we repeat this, the more everybody can start to see the process. And it helps if I actually go to the correct folder. There we go. All right, does that make sense? Okay. And you guys are going to be helping me walk through this process. So now we have our index folder, our index page, excuse me. This is my root folder, right? So that is this folder right here that you will zip and submit. So you're submitting all the stuff in it. Please do not submit all these. The reason, if you submit all those with that, if you zip this whole thing, it takes forever to download. And you'll notice it takes forever to upload. So to save time for yourselves, just go ahead and submit the root folder, none of the others. All right, so we're right here. What was my first step?
Attach the CSS style sheet.
Okay. So we go plus, existing, browse, go into the CSS style sheet. And okay. All right, so now we have our style sheet. So everything's there. Now, please, as we go, ask any questions you have. And look at the feedback that I gave you. Before we start, can you all go take a look at the feedback that I gave you really quick? Can everybody do that? Let me know when you've done it. And the reason is this will let you know what questions you need to ask me as we're going.
Yeah, I looked at your feedback last night and made those changes. Kind of got confused about linking everything until I had to go back into that section where you're talking about linking everything.
Okay.
I think to be truly honest, I think I watched it and listened to it maybe 4 or 5 times just to try to see if I got it right.
Okay. Well, when we get to that section, when we start talking about the linking, I'm going to point something out that a few people made mistakes on that I did not take points off of.
Okay.
But I did point out that it was a mistake and why.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And I looked back into it and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
So
it wasn't a few other people did that same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a new program for me, so I'm still trying to get used to it. So
We'll get there.
I'll get there.
By the end of the mod, you guys will have a basic idea how to use this program. Okay, so has everybody else looked at their feedback?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, first step is the background color, right? Let's go ahead and also go back out here and bring up the Photoshop. So we know what we want to look like.
Actually, that background's not the first step.
What's the first step?
Making sure you have the right title.
Okay. Right here. Right?
Right.
Okay, and what's the title?
Lawn care and landscaping, but there's no space between lawn care and the C is lowercase.
Yep. A lot of people didn't know why we were copying and pasting that. That's why. They didn't catch that. They just did it, which is okay, but now you're seeing why. These little details, that's what I want to cover tonight, okay? All right, so now the next one is the color. Well, the background is this one right here, C6DDD1, or you click it. Okay, so everybody got these from me last week. And did everybody get their CC libraries to work?
No.
No. Okay. Do you know how to make your CC library work?
No.
Okay. Well, we're going to cover some of that right now. Let's just say, okay, what I'm going to do is we're going to create a new one, a new library. And I'm going to call it LC2. Okay, so now any color I want, what I'm going to do, for example, I've just took that one green, that one background, we're going to add it. Notice it's not letting me add anything, right?
Right.
Well, why not? Do you know?
So you have to create a folder within that CC library.
Nope, I've already got it there. That's what I just did right here. See?
Okay. I was going to say a subfolder just to put everything in, but yeah, you're right.
Well, some people do, some people don't. If you notice mine, I don't do that. I just have everything right here, that way. Some people do subfolders. Okay? So if you want to do a subfolder, you can do a subfolder. But you'll notice from Dreamweaver, it's kind of hard to do. So we're going to lower Dreamweaver and go here to Photoshop. Now, you'll notice in Photoshop, click on Photoshop. And let's bring up my CC libraries. Where'd it go?
L, libraries.
I think you had it up before you clicked on
I think
it.
I did.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, yeah. So it's over here. That's where it is. That's why it was off. There we go. Now it's back where I'm used to it. It threw me off. Sorry about that. All right, so now we're going to go to the LC2. Notice it's there. What I can do is create a new library from this file. Create new library. Look what it just did. It pulls everything in. Every little color difference and everything. Because it takes the shadows from the greens. It takes the greens. It takes everything. The browns. See, so that's one way to do it. This is the lawn care mock-up. All right, so I'm going to actually now delete it. Well, if I go to here, delete, that's just the Myriad Pro. That's just one of those. So how do we delete it? Does anybody know?
I'm drawing a blank.
Okay, if I go here, now we're creating a new library, right? So we don't want to do that. If I go to here, it's not, there's nothing to delete, right? So we're going to close everything. All libraries, current library. Notice you're just, it's the search. That's all that's for. All right. So let's see, let's go back to this. If I want to delete that, come up here. Now, delete lawn care mockup. Delete. Gone. So that's how you delete it. You come up to here, drop down. So you've seen how to create it from the picture. And you see how much that brings over. That brought over quite a bit. All right, next, the other way. Well, now, shrink this down a little. Photoshop's a little wide. Come on. All right. Make it fit so I can work around zoom. All right, there we go. All right, now to pick this, all I have to do, let's grab my tool over here. What's the tool that I need? Of course, okay, where's it at? It's right there. So we'll grab it. All right, now I choose that color. Next, all we do is plus. Foreground color, add. Okay, the blue, foreground color, because I'm not taking the graphic, just the color. Green. This green. Now, did I forget anything? Did I forget any other colors?
Where's the white?
The white. Well, white we already know. You can bring that one in if you want. Or you could just type that one in. What is the hexadecimal code for white?
Pound sign with 6 Fs.
Correct. See, so as we look here, but this white is different. It's kind of a gray. Okay. Where is that? That was grabbed at the wrong spot. That doesn't belong there, does it? So how do I get rid of that? Okay, so now we're going to select one. See how it's highlighted?
Drag it to the trash can.
And trash can. Or I could drag it down to the trash can. All right, so now we close that. Okay, and then if you want to add the white, this is all you have to do. You'll double click on the color, put it there. Once it's here, that's all it needs to be brought over. Okay, so does that explain now how to make your library?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. I'm catching up here, Raquel. Let's see. You couldn't add the colors into the library. All right, it was folder 2, but folder 2, but I couldn't add content. All right, did that make sense? Did that help, Raquel? A little. It's going to take some practice to get it. Okay. And one way to do it is, for example, let's see, let's take a look here. What do I have? I have my lawn care, that one. Well, that's the one I no longer need. Okay, now how do you add them into Dreamweaver? Okay, we'll get right there now in a second. Okay, so I no longer need this LC2 because I have my lawn care. So I'm going to go down and delete. And delete. Gone. You'll see here. Now you'll notice I also have wireframe colors. Those will come in handy this mod. So you'll be designing, if you want, 2 of those. And see, and I have, for example, Loki's photography, and I have that twice. See, I have my own because, well, it depends on what logo I was using at the time that I created them. I had 2 different logos. But as you can see now, you just create them over here, and that's easy. Like the PB&J, peanut butter and jelly sandwich. When you get to my animation class, if you're in it, you'll learn how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Or my coding class. But yeah, there's no real limit. It's just a matter of running out of space on your Creative Cloud. All right, now, how do we add those to Dreamweaver? Let's bring Dreamweaver back up. All right, so now I want that background color. So I go up here. And boy, Zoom's being a pain. All right, so let's see. We're going to click down there. So I'm on the lowest one of 1024. Click right here. The background color is the one I want. You just, once you highlight it, click it. See how it says it's copied to the clipboard? Now I just go over, and this is where I do my page properties for the background color. Notice the pound is not highlighted. So if you put the pound in there twice, like this,
Nothing's gonna happen.
nothing's going to happen other than, well, that's our normal because that's our template, but nothing happened. Now you take one of those out. Yes, yes. And boom, there we go. Okay, did that help everybody see how to bring that over?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Raquel? Okay. And just remember, once you put them in your library, they're in your library for all your programs that you use across the board that uses the library, the CC library. So it's made so you can use all the programs together. All right. So next, now I need the color for the text, which was this dark green. So again, click, File,
Page property.
Page Properties, Links. Yes, yes. And V, Tab, Command V, Tab, Command V. Now, you could put different colors here, and that's where your rollover links change. When you roll over, it'll be this color. But for this, we're using all the same. Never underline and bold. Now, if we apply, it worked. Does everybody understand up to that point?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Any questions?
Why do you have to do it that way for those, but for the other ones, you just go over to the side and change it in the text?
Oh, in the CSS instead of doing it there?
Yes.
This just set all the text for the page. Unless a CSS command does something different. Basically, I set all the code on this page, all the text, to be that color right now. All the links.
Okay.
Now, when you get to those little sections, that's where the CSS comes in to modify it. Because look, see, that one automatically did that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did that answer your question?
Yeah,
Cool.
I got you.
Okay. So next, now we're going to go over and do individuals. All right. So the first things first. Well, let's scroll up. The lawn care. Well, we got to do the logo as we know, right?
Right.
Remember, we want it to look like this. All right, so the lawn care. We add the selector, which is the logo, right? Now, what's the next thing?
Make sure you hit enter.
Okay, which I did. Don't hit it twice. That's why right there. Okay, so now I've got it.
Float left.
Float left. And that's the one thing that, if you guys notice, that was the one thing. Float left and clear are the two things that I did a lot of mentioning of. Getting used to those, you'll start to get used to where how everything works to flow together, because your float left puts that section to the left. Anything, if that section is not 100% of the screen, the next section automatically goes up next to it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now your clear is like a soft return. It puts everything down, that it puts that section automatically below the section that was before it. So what we're going to do is we're going to click right here. Now I'm in my HP banner, so I go to my HP banner, and we're going to do that clear. Next. All right, this is where some people got confused also. All right, so, but first we're going to go to the logo. We're going to put a percentage here. What was that percentage?
13.
13%. And if you guys noticed, it was not always the same on your screen, was it?
No.
No.
Because your screen's a different size than mine. So what you're seeing there is not always what's going to appear. Remember that. Even if you're in live view, That's not always what you're going to see when you look over at the website. Okay? Next. Okay, now we want to get rid of the bullet points, right? All right, so we go down here. We'll just click on it, and that takes me down to that section, right? Well, if I do it in the nav, that gets rid of the bullet points on all of this, right? Is that where I do it?
No.
Well, let's play. This is where we play, okay? So we'll add the nav. Text, scroll down. Well, let's put the none here. It didn't do it. Why didn't it do that?
Not the lowest place.
Hmm?
Not the lowest place.
Not the lowest place of it, okay? Because look, the UL is one step lower. There are no bullets on that section. The bullets come into this section. Everything that's all the lines in that section, because it's a list, that's where the bullet points are. So we want to go to that UL. All right, so we're going to delete the nav. Whoa. Try this again. There we go. Delete my nav. Gone. Now we're going to add one. Now we have that UL. Okay, now we can go down. Here, none. They're gone now. All right, now by doing that, if I go up here, what will happen if I do left float? Anything?
We'll put them back under.
No, because there's just one section there. All I did when I did a left float, if I didn't put this down here and do the clear, it would now be right up here. Watch this. We're going to take that clear out temporarily. It puts it up there with it. So we're going to put the clear back. Now we're going to leave that as is with the left for a minute, okay? Now what I want to do is actually go down one more step. And now we're going to add the left float there. So that puts them all together. All right, well, what happened to the percentage here that was there? It's not there anymore. Why? Can you tell me that? I didn't hit enter. Remember, always hit that enter. All right, now we want to space those out. Now, you can float it left as well, all right? I mean, float it right. But when I float it right, watch what happens when I float right. Notice all the words change around. Okay, there's that. See how it switched them around? Okay, now we need to add the spaces, right? So we'll go back up and we'll add them right here. Well, let's put 5% for now. 5% is too much. Down. Notice it's not going to the end. Okay? The reason. Remember how I said if you do that float left there, it's going to put the block. Well, let's take that out. Now let's go there and put that percentage. Do you see the difference in how that worked? Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Are there any questions so far? Okay, so we're going to save at this point. Are there any questions? Okay. Everybody's really quiet tonight. There's no questions so far, okay. Now, like I said, if I miss a question from Raquel, please let me know. All right, now, well, we've got that. So let's go take a look. So we've got all that. So the next one's now working in here. All right. Well, what's the easiest way to bring all that stuff over?
Don't you want to float it to the right?
Okay, so we'll click on that. And we're going to create the selector, so the H3, right? Now, if I float to the right, this is what I get. Perfect. So now we add this one. Selector. Same thing. Now, why isn't it going down? Is this the question you had about the button not going down?
Yes.
Need to clear right.
Okay. Let me go ahead and add this first. Okay, so we put the button. Now I float it right as well. To get these to go down, what you need to do is clear right for both of those. It's that soft return. Does that make sense? Did that answer that? Huh?
So do you do the float right and clear right, or just the clear right?
Just, both. Because if I take the float right off, puts it right back there in the center.
Okay.
If I take the, see, by adding it, it puts it down on the right spot. Then I float right, and it puts everything over there. So now we're going to go to H3. And we're here. We're going to put a percentage there, right? Let's start with 5%. Almost. So let's go up 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. So 9%. Enter. Now we go to the button. Well, let's go 5% with that. Well, that's not going to work because it's so small. So we start with 15. All right. Now we have that one. So is everybody still with me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, now we come down to here. So this puts me in this section. All right, now, well, what's the first thing I do in this section?
Don't you want to make that box? I believe it's going to be blue. I think
No.
that's the blue box.
Yep, blue. So BLUE. All right, now, notice it says it doesn't exist. Do not hit select a new source. Why? Do you know? Okay, if I say this and just hit enter, if I come down here,
I added it.
it didn't add it in here. Notice it's not in here.
No, it's in your style. See, it
Goes
says-
back to there, yes. So there's my blue box. Now if I come back up, I have the tan one there. So it's a lot easier rather than create a new one. To just go over here in the CSS. Now I'll double click BLUE. And there we go. So now the blue one's there. Now the same thing here, green. We don't want anything past that. Now I come down to here, the dark. Green. All right, so now I have them renamed, right? The reason I'm showing this is because this is going to come in very handy for this week, knowing how to change the names here, because you're going to have to. All right, that being said, now what I want to do. All right, so that's the blue one. Well, let's grab the blue. Remember, click on the blue, go here on my 1024. And I can actually do this on the main CSS as well, because all those boxes are going to be blue, right? So they will all be the same. Okay. And the other one is all going to be the green, are all going to be the green. All right. So we have that. Now I can go into each section. But before I do that, what do you think looks better, the white or the black text there?
White.
You know, that's actually a personal preference, believe it or not. We go back and look. This says it should be white, but look at that. Look at that white against that light blue. It's hard to read. But if I did black text here and white text here, the eyes would start fighting between the two. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
All right, so based on that now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make all the text in that box. And we're going to do it from here, the main styles, the blue, text, pound, 1, 2. All right, so now we have that, all right? So it's all set up, kind of. So the first things first, now we're going to go to the 1024.
Change the button text.
We'll change that when we create it here in a minute. I haven't created the button one yet. Now, you're ahead of me, and these are where you could do your own steps to the direction you want. I can add that button right now and do it. But with me, if I did that, I'd forget to go back and change this thing up here. So I have to kind of do this for me step by step. But everybody has their own steps. So you're exactly right on what we need to do.
So I have a question. It's so, like, for your preference, it's easier for you to go from top to bottom to make sure everything's perfect, and then instead of going all over the place.
Correct. Yes, is that your question?
I think it was. I don't think it was a question. I think it was more of a statement. I guess.
Or a realization of what I'm referring to?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so now what I want to do, I've got my blue. Well, let's go to the blue here. Well, there isn't one. There is not a blue in the 1024. So we'll have to create one. All right, now I have my blue. First things first, float left. Okay, and then we're also going to make the width 50%. All right, now you see that the green box works great, right? Well, we'll get there in a minute. So now I need to come to this. This one's perfect. This one's great. Here, I need to put 15 below it so that the button goes down. Now, I could put 15 above the button as well. So that's another personal choice. All right, so there we have the paragraph text. All right, and so right here. Right, so that's now set. And next I'm going to do the button. Now, as was mentioned earlier, let me show you something. I'm going to delete that. Now I'm on the button. Now watch what I can do on the button. 2 steps in one. All right, I want to put 15 here. So that didn't drop it. Why not?
You didn't hit enter.
I did.
Because it's not in percent, it's in pixels.
Nope, even in percent. Let's do percent.
Does it have to do with the size of the box itself?
No, on this one. Okay, what this does, and remember how I was talking about your hierarchy of things, right? First one you work with, second one, third one. Well, that button, because it's a reference underneath the paragraph, it's looking at it as if it's part of the paragraph. But if you do it within the paragraph, it doesn't. I know, it makes no sense, but it's the hierarchy. First, second, third. And if there's no space between after this one, this won't add a space above it because of the hierarchy. Does that make sense now?
Yeah.
And this is why we had to do it that route. Okay? But, well, I'm here. Let's go ahead and we're going to make the color of the text. All right, so that's now made. And we're going to add that one back. Okay. So now I can add that 15 below it. And there we go. So does that make sense now to everybody, why we have to do it that route?
Yes, it does.
Remember the hierarchy. So like I said, now, I can make that work by creating its own CSS file or doing inline CSS. But why, if I'm going to have those things on other pages, would I do that? I wouldn't, would I? It'd be a waste of time to do it on each page. All right, so next, well, now we hit the green. All right, so with the green box, notice it goes all the way over because it's not been set. And this is where, all right, so now we're going to add the green box. Okay, and width is 50%. All right, so why did it go down?
You didn't float left.
I did not float left. We float left, it puts it right next to it. All right, and this is where we add paragraph. Okay, and on the paragraph, it was 15 down, right?
Right.
Okay, and now I add the button. Okay, so now that I've added the button, text, and there we go. So we now have this all set down to there. Save all related, save all. All right, so next, well, now we're going to hit this section. So if I click on the picture, nothing's going to happen. I want to hit here because that's the highest of those, right? Now, if I click on the div row, notice that's that whole thing, right? So first things first, I want the div row, which is a dot row because this doesn't get called. Okay. And now I'm going to put the clear left. It automatically puts it down there. So I don't have to worry about these taking over up here now. All right, so the next thing I do, well, now we're going to go in closer. Well, if I click there, that's the column. All right, so I have to add the column. And now, if I go forth, we'll start with the width, 0.25, well, 25%. So 0.25. All right, so that does that. All right, now if I do the enter here, okay, all the pictures go out, but the pictures are now all too wide. So I actually have to go to the image, which is the next one. All right, but because it's the image tag, you'll see there that it's the image tag. Well, that image tag is tied to all of them, unless I put like a 1 here. Just because the picture is different inside that image does not affect it. All right. So next, what I want to do is, well, I added that. We're going to, well, here's what happens if I clear. Nothing. Now, if I float, nothing. Well, let's take it to actually 100%. So it's 100% of that section that it's in. And there we go. Now we have all those set up. All right. This is what? Where's that take me? Where are we at?
End of the assignment.
Nope. Remember, we have to do this one now. All right, so now we have to go back to the 768, go back to the top. And you'll see I have all those bullet points again. Well, the way that this is set up, I'm going to have those bullet points because I did it in the 1024. I did not change it in the main styles. So we're going to have to do it again at the 768. All right, so click. All right, so where do I start? If I do the nav, that's that whole thing, it won't change it because there's no bullet points. Now I go to, because,
Unordered list.
Yep, I go to the unordered list. Add that. Text. None. All right, so that's now none. All right, so that's now done. All right, what's next? Remember the list. So we add the list, and that's where we do float left. And remember, these all have to be centered, right? Well, if I go back up here, that whole row, okay, we'll keep going further. The header is that whole section, right? So we're going to come back up here and add the header. And I am going to actually center, justify everything there. These aren't centered because they're not going to be. Now I come down to here. They were centered until I left justified them, all right? And now we're going to do a width. All right, so let's do 10%. All right, notice how that starts to bring it back. It didn't work, did it? Why not? Why did that take them to the second row? Because we went too far. So let's try here again, all right? So let's go back to there. We'll float left. And then we're going to go down here and we're going to actually get rid of that float left. Notice, see how it didn't work there either? So what do I need to do to get those to work right? What do you guys think? What did you do? Okay, now I'm going to add that one here. All right, now if I do the same thing there, I'm going to have the same problem, right? Nothing. See how that actually took it up above? Okay, so that's not going to work. What did we do to solve that last week?
The margin.
Okay.
Going up to the margin box and kind of stretching them out so they would go all the way across.
Okay.
That's what I remember.
So if I go to right here and do left float, there we have that. Nothing happened. Remember, I would need to go further. Okay, now do the left float. Now we come up here to the margins, like you said. 5%. And now we're starting to get what we needed there, right? But why didn't these go up? Oh.
So it's set at 10%.
Okay, where do I have to set that 10%? Remember, this is lower. So
On the unordered list?
here, I'm on the list. If I go to the unordered list, right, the unordered list, we'll go to it. Width. Percent, let's do 15. Whoops. Okay, so that's starting to do what I needed, didn't it? And there we go. That's what we needed right there, wasn't it? So that's 125% of the area. And this, the width is 10%. Now, if I take that one out, okay, well, we're going to turn that one off. Now I can go back up and do that same thing right there. See how I did it in two different ways there? But it's the same thing. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, now, before we go any further, no, we have to make a page for each one of these, right? Okay, so I'm going to click here. Well, this link, I'm going to automatically put index, right? So that one's automatically indexed. Now, I need a services link. All right, so I go into here to the LI. And if I put services there, .html.
Nothing happened.
Why?
Because you have to go to the A.
Nope, that's where we put it. No, we don't see how that automatically did it.
No, now you're on the A.
Now I am. Before I wasn't. How did I get to the A when I wasn't on it before?
I clicked the word.
Okay. Well, I just clicked here versus here. Okay. And now this is going to be gallery.
The hashtag out.
Oh, why?
Because it won't work.
Exactly. This was where a lot of people, like I said, I made the comment, you guys have the right idea. Take out the hashtag to make it work. And notice how here it's a lot easier to actually do the coding than it is to make the link. Did you find that? It was easier just to click here and do the coding?
I do now.
Okay.
I did it the other way.
Okay. Either way. All right. So now, next, I want to go into the header. So the
No.
body header, right?
No.
Huh?
You didn't change the background where the logo is to the correct color.
Yeah, it is. Look. It's all that same color.
I didn't even notice it.
I did it on the page properties, so it does it no matter where it's at.
You cheated.
Huh?
You cheated.
I cheated. Why should I have to do it at every step when I can do it at the highest most step? Remember, you're going to go down to the lowest step to get some things, but then other things you can go at the highest because it's going to affect every page and every bit of it, right? But if it's only affecting a small portion of it, you have to go to the slowest portion. Does that make sense to know when to go higher and lower?
Yes.
Did everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay, so next. Now we've got our header set up. All right, so the first thing with the header is, well, we need the height. And it's going to be pixels. Notice it went all the way up there, right? Well, what I'm going to do first is, again, clear it. Now it's down there, so no matter what, if I take this out, see how in either way it's going back up? But by doing 100% of the height, because right now at 10%, 10 pixels, this is now empty up here, and I've taken this all the way out. So now we're going to go to the height. And actually make it above where everything's at. But look what it's doing. It's affecting that whole section. So what do I need to do? HP banner. Oh, look where I was. See the difference? See what I did wrong?
Yes.
Banner. All right, now the height. All right, so 10. Now we're going to add the height that we need. And we go until we see the picture do what?
Jump.
Jump.
Yep. And I'm doing the shift to go up 10 at a time. Right there. Okay. So then all these now we need to add to float left, right. Remember, I have to go clear right as well. All right, so now, well, I just created that one. We could go ahead and fix that text right now. So pound 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Now notice because of this, it's high, right? It's a little high, so we're going to take it down first. So let's go to the padding, to the margin. We'll put it right there. Now we go back. Notice it went down. Why did that one go down? Do you remember how I said there is that little flaw? So now we got to go back to 1024 to the banner H3,
And
click,
hit
enter. File, save all related files, go back, and there we have it. So next, now we're going to go back up to here, to the H3, right here. Let's go 5%. 10's too much.
So when you move down a whole text box like you just did with the lawn care, no yard, too small, and then the button, you want to go to the highest link to move it all down, correct?
You actually want to go in that section, but yes, yeah, yeah, like lawn care.
Yeah.
This one,
move it
yes,
back down.
yep, because that automatically everything's set up to where you put that soft return under both of them.
Yes.
By moving that, those will automatically move.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, now we have that set up. File, save all related. File, save all. All right, now, well, remember, pretty much the same thing right here. So that's easy to do.
Except now the text is hard to read.
Because same thing, right? What text is hard to read? Oh, there? Yes. That is hard to read. So what I did on this spot is I grabbed that dark green
Changed everything to green.
and, well, I go to the HP banner, text. Now we go back out. Did it there too. But let's go to the 1024, HP banner, text, pound. Really? Okay, so there we have that. Now I go low. Remember, you may have to go back and change that just like that. Okay? Because of those little glitches in Dreamweaver. All right, now the button, well, the color, same thing. And then I have to do the outline for that button, the same thing. All right, now we go up. And look what just happened. So I have to go back to that one. And the button. And the text. Now we go back down. And that works perfect now, right? Okay, so now we're going to file, save all related files. File, save all. All right, now that brings us down to here. Now, I could cheat because, believe it or not, this is set up at 50%. Well, if that's set up at 50%, I can go to the CSS style, code. Let's go to the desktop. All right, so here's my desktop, right? Up here, desktop. Notice we come down. My desktop info box screen is blank. But up here, there isn't any. So all I have to do is come down here, right? The HP banner, style logo, keep going. Info blue. So I start at 144, go down to the green to here. Command C. Now I just go down to, go up to that up here. Notice that I have my HP banner, style nav. So right here, Command V. Now watch. We're gonna split. See how that automatically set it up? Because I copied it. Did everybody see how I did that copy?
Can you do that one more time if you could, please?
Okay. Command Z. Z. All right. Let's go back here to the code. Our desktop we have set up, right? Now we come down here where we start the blue box. Come down. And you know, we're even going to go a little bit further. We're going to go down here to the row. And now I select that whole thing, copy it, Command C. Now I go up because you notice after the nav, there's nothing up here. Now I do the Command V. File, save all related, go back to the source and split.
I get it. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Now, where'd my things go? We're going to close this. We're going to close Dreamweaver. Now we're going to bring Dreamweaver back up in a minute. Okay, now we can. And they're gone. What happened to them? Did you guys notice what happened? Let's go back to the code. They're here, but they're not over there.
There's an error on 281.
Yes, there is an error. Well, let's see what that error is. 201 is a blank box at the very bottom. Okay, now it says there's still an error. So we click on it and go to there. Okay, the info green box. There is no green box. Remember, we did that up above, right? I never did go back and delete that. Let's see the split. It's still not there. What did I do wrong? Well, let's go back to what we're going to do. We're going to delete this. Really? Come on, let me delete it. Sources, styles, attach, styles, open. Okay, it's already found it there. It's just there is now an issue with the code. So you saw what happened when I did the cut and paste, right? But you also saw the other day where that same cut and paste worked, didn't it?
No, you didn't use it the other day.
Huh?
You didn't use it the other day.
It worked, right?
Yes.
But now it's not. This is another point where there is a flaw in Dreamweaver. Okay, well, this says there's an error. Where's it at? Up, there's an column 2 expected at line 200. So that's an extra brace. It still didn't bring them back. But they're all down here. It's now split them, so I no longer have all that. But watch. Now we're going to do this. Now watch what happens when I take that and go down. Notice something's missing up here. It's way out there. Now we go down, it's working. But that flaw within Dreamweaver, by doing the copy paste, took the selectors out of here. They're still there. They're working, as you just saw. And you can see them here. There it is, right there. But Dreamweaver, for some reason, got rid of it. Dreamweaver is not showing it. And if I add, well, I can't even, it will not even allow me to subtract the style. So I can't subtract it and redo it that route. But I can go to code, very top, up here. Remember how we set it right here. Style type, text, CSS. Well, shouldn't, right here, it should be working, right? So what I'm going to do, we're going to highlight that, copy it. All right, now let's go back to the split. Oh, we're back to the very beginning, aren't we? But notice, okay, so there is no CSS. Now we're going to add the CSS back. But it's still not up here. So our copy and paste just messed that up. So what does that tell you about the copy and paste within CSS on this program?
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it, because guess what? Now that I saved everything and shut the program down, then run it back up, I cannot go backwards.
Which means you would have to restart everything.
Mm-hmm. Right, now, since I have that there, we're going to go File, Save All. Right, so right here, now if I added it, watch what happens. We're going to go minimum width. What was this? The larger one.
768.
1024. The larger one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So 1024. Now I add that. It didn't show up. Let's do that one more time. Minimum width 1024.
Because you're doing minimum width, not maximum width.
Oh, well, that's all we need. That's what we're supposed to have is the minimum width. But it's just not showing up there. Because see, let's go back to our coding. Automatically, see, it's the minimum. But look. Media is there. The media is there. So what we're going to do, at media, click, open, min, width, .480, right? And now I need to do that open. All right, now go back, split. It will not put it in there. It's not allowing any global to now work. Hit design, go back to live. See, now none of my global will show up. So the copy paste method, don't do it. Now you see why. Normally you could do it. You see that it's working. All that stuff is here, but it will not break it down to a media query for some reason. All right? Now it'll allow me to delete that. All right, so let's delete, okay. So now we're going to add it. Existing, browse, CSS, okay. Still not up there. And if I try to add it, well, what we're going to do, let's go ahead and put a height here, 100 pixels. Still did not add it there. Now we go back to here, very bottom, no. Now it's not allowing me to add it at all. The one I typed in is there, but not the other one. So at this point, now I have to start over if I really want that. But as you can see, it's now working for everything, right? Click here if I want to add the media. There's the minimum width. All right, we're going to cancel that. Now we're going to here. This is how it's supposed to tie it back together, but it didn't. So what we're going to have to do here now is go over here and take a look in the preview. Save the index. Save that. All right. Google Chrome. All right. But you see that's working except up here. All right. Now let's go take a look. So what would you do at this point? What do you think? If that's the only spot not working, what are you going to try?
Go in and adjust it by itself.
Well, those are only off at this one spot on the wider screen, right? So we will go into the CSS. Let's go to code. We want to be down on the desktop view because that's where it's at. There's our banner, our button, our logo. None. Margin top 77% wide. Width 50%, that's right. Margin 13%. Well, what if I delete that? Notice they're still out there. But it's working everywhere else, right? So what we're going to try to do is, now we're going to look at these over here. We come down, the header, the footer, the body, the banner, okay, button, blue, green body. Now we're getting into each section. Nav style. Okay, let's take a look. 5%, 5%. What if we take those out? And that is how we do the troubleshoot for that. But look what that just did there. So now I took it out there, but now I need to go back. Now we're going to go down to the other one. And notice it's not there. So this tells you that we're not reading it correctly, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're seeing, huh?
Yes.
Let's go file, save all. So now what would your step be? What should have I done once I had got the desktop done?
Would you go back to the 768 and do the same thing?
Well, what we should have done is come back up here, copied that, placed it into here. So let's go here. Open a file. I'm running out of memory. How do you tell you're running out of memory? It starts doing these weird things. All right, so I click here. There's that one. All right, so now we're going to do open the other one. File, open, and this tells me which one I'm working on. So we're going to go down here, right there. So that's the correct one, isn't it? All this is now gone. The coding that we put up there, but all the coding down here stayed. It's there, but it's not allowing it to do what we're supposed to do. At this point, what I need to do is restart because I didn't save a backup anywhere. And once I copied and pasted, it messed it up, right?
My question is, would you completely delete the CSS that you're working with right now and start completely new with the original CSS from not the route that we made under our name, but the one that came with the files?
Yes, I would. I'd delete it all.
That sounds like a big headache.
I'd start over. Now, do we have time to do that tonight in class? No. So I will have that set up tomorrow. Now, what are some of the things I could have done to stop that from happening so quick?
Not save it?
You need to save it. What happens if your computer crashes?
Or I would have made a backup before I did the copy and paste.
Yes. Copy all that folder and place it somewhere else as a backup, right? All right, so that being said, now, the thing that we need to look at for tomorrow. Okay, so we've got that here. In fact, let's go back to the CSS for a minute. And the CSS that I put up here, I've already taken out, right? So right there tells you something's wrong with this CSS. Normally, right? Well, let's go back here. It says there's a flaw. Okay, so line 206, there's unexpected code. This doesn't go to 206. So it's counting code that it's not even recognizing anymore. That is my desktop. It doesn't even go to 206. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to, normally, once I clear it, it's gone. But it's not allowing me to do that. So what I'm going to do is come back up here. We're going to take that back. And it still didn't add it back in. Okay. Well, yeah, see, there's no 206. Doesn't even go past 128, and it still says there's an error. So we click it. It's not even going anywhere. So in other words, this whole thing is now locked up. This whole file. Okay. All right, now, so let's talk about what we need to do for tomorrow. All right, now we come here. This is a wireframe. You'll notice that wireframes are grayscale, no color. If it works in grayscale and you can see everything, it will work in the color version. That's why that's done. But you'll notice that this is what they want each of the pages to look like. All right? But we come up here on this, we only have one of those, right? Which is that one. So what they want us to do is to put the correct information in here and make it look like, okay, there's that one, the About Us, all right? So we're going to take that and we're going to create the About Us, all right? So now, the About Us. Zoom in. All right, so in the About Us, we have a Meet the Crew section. Well, if I come in here, this is gone, right? That's gone. This, why is it not? Is not allowing me to even modify it. Really? There we go. All right, so now we take that out to there. Take that up to there. Apply. Take that to there. And that's Meet the Crew, right? Well, that's Meet the Crew. So now this is going to come up to here. Command T. It's going to be a quarter of that. So that is so take half of that, so it's 3.33, right? Approximately. This part doesn't have to be exact. It's just going to look the way that we want it to look. All right, now we want to file, place. And I like to do the link rather than embedded. Can you tell me why? Why do you think we'd link rather than embed it?
you have to transfer that file over to something, it's linked, it carries over.
Okay, so if I make any changes to the picture, it'll automatically update the link. Where if I just embed it, I have to go relink it. All right, and this is where these work together. All right, so I want the crew owner. So we're going to place it. All right, the crew owner. And where'd it go? Well, the crew owner, we're going to take, well, go down. All right, now the crew owner, actually take that all the way to the top. In the 1024, okay, there's that. And then we'll place the text the way we need to. And in fact, what's that say? It'll say, meet Dave the owner. Now this text, where do I get that text? We're going to get that text. We come up here. Notice this doc next to that? Okay, so we're going to open that and look. Let's go down here to meet the crew page. So meet the crew, that's the top. And this tells you the text size it should be. All right, so meet Dave the owner. We're going to copy that. Back over. And V. All right, so Command T, make it a little bit smaller. All right, now you're seeing this is getting hard to work with because it's so small, right? Well, to fix that, zoom in. All right, so meet Dave the owner. Now, we're going to take this one. And, well, now we got to bring it up. All right, now that's going to be this text. And V. Go down until it's all in here. And we also want left justified for that. Put that in so it's the same size. Going. All right. In fact, those can go away. Oops. All right, and now we go back into here temporarily. We want to make sure it's all left justified. There we go. And this one, now that's going to go up to here. Apply. All right. Now this one. And then this. All right. So that's approximately what this is going to look like. This is what we're designing. All right. This is to give you the practice of this. So let's go back, look at the directions. Week 2 assignment. Create a mock-up. That's what we're doing. Define and apply the efficient workflow. Now that you've gotten your feet wet with HTML and CSS, let's take a breather and learn how to create a PSD mockup. Dreamweaver has some awesome extract tools. Guess what? It no longer does the extract. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to get this. That's how you create a mockup right there, okay? So open the 4 wireframe PDF pages, which we did. Look through these and decide which 2 you want to mock up in Photoshop for this assignment. In the Finder, find the file named Lawn Care Mockup Homepage.psd. Copy and duplicate the file. Duplicate it again, homepage with the second page you're doing a mockup. So that was the crew page, right? That we were mocking up. Follow the branding from the home page for colors. So you're going to use the same type of layout. All images and copy for these pages are provided in the subfolders you downloaded. Use the provided text and then delete any unused layers from the PSD file. Zip the 2 PSD documents into one file. Name it this. That is what you will be submitting. All right? So once you get this, you get the meet the crew there. You're going to come over and make this look similar with the same branding. Make sense? Huh? Okay. So, all right, I've got this started. Now we're going to come over here. Well, I'm going to cheat just a little. Now we close this, and now we're on this one. Remember, we're not worrying about the mobile, okay? But I still want you guys to do that in this step because all you're submitting your PDF, your PSD files. You're not doing your web page again, okay? So now, let's see. Now we want this one to look similar. Well, we've already decided this doesn't go there. This doesn't go there. I'm going to take this and this, Command C. Go over, Command V. Okay, so now we're going to take it to here. Where's the center? All right, there's the center. And there's the meet the crew. Now we're going to take those. Okay, well, I'm going to delete that for a minute. Copy that. So Command. I highlight this, this, and the background. And C. Now I'm also going to do that. Okay. All right, now we're going to come back over to here. And I'm going to delete those. All right. So Command V. Whoops. All right, so let's go do it this way. Shift, text, and background. So Command C. Over here. What we're going to do is right click, duplicate. Document, okay, artboard. I want to put those into my 768 mock board. There we go. Let's see. So that can go right here. And notice how, because it's smaller, this isn't going to work, is it, for this type of layout? So what do you think I can do to make this work? Well, we're going to take the two layouts, all right? Let's go back to the original. Okay, so there we go. Really? All right, so we're going to go back to here, and I'm using the crew one. So let's open the crew. Notice I have these two columns. Those two will be put right here. So this whole thing can be larger. There we go. There we go. All right, so now we can make these larger. So they're about halfway through. All right, and now we'll put the other one right next to it that would be right here, and then column 3, 4. And this would be column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, and over here, it just all goes straight down. Does that make sense now?
A little bit.
Okay, I will have that ready to show you tomorrow night. Okay? Because tonight, this week, you're only submitting the PSD files. You're not submitting the HTML and the root folder this week. We're giving you a break from the HTML to think. Now you're going to go back and do some designing. And you'll notice you have, well, this is what the main page looks like, the desktop. You guys get to create the other versions. And you saw how you went from the desktop version of the home page to the tablet to the smartphone, correct?
No. The smartphone did not work. So you didn't have us do it.
Okay, just a minute. Forget the HTML and the CSS. This is going to be lawn care mockup. Crew. Okay. Right now I'm going to file open. This one again. Okay. Let's go back to our folder and you'll see here's our home page. This is what the home page looks like. Go down, go down. Okay? So that's what the mock-up. So you go from this mock-up and you design this look, which is similar, right? You see how you've gone from that one to that one. Because it's smaller, you now rearrange it a little, right?
Right.
And then you just line them right up and down there. Well, we come over here to the crew one. We go down. It's a little different than what I just showed you. Because I wanted to show you options. But now you see this is what I want you guys to have it look like. But you're seeing how to do it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The way I did that, you have your picture right here, his info below it, and then another one. It's going to be hard to read. The way they did this is they took this picture and this box, put them next to each other. That way, you're not stretching any of that information. So the UX will be a lot better because it looks nicer, right? This is how you're setting those up. You're going to set up this one. Here's your home page. Now you're going to set this one up. There's that one, right? See how I separated them? Now you can do different boxes or you can put them in the same box. Remember, when we did our HTML, CSS, we got rid of that, those spaces, right? Because it didn't flow right and wouldn't work right, correct? I didn't have you do the spaces, right? In between all these.
Right.
So we're not going to do them again. So that's why you need a different, as you can see, these are gray, so they'd be a different background than this one or this, right? These are the images. This gray and this gray are the same. And then this one would be different. So light green, that grayish, and the grayish, or grayish, light green. As long as you're still sticking to the color theme from that. So I can do even the blue for the background of the owner. Then this green would be the second one right here would be this green, then the picture, and then that green again. Does that make sense now? So you're setting this up to look like that. And then you're going to set up the tablet version to look like that. And then the smartphone version to look like that. You're picking 2 pages you're going to do this to. Does that make sense now?
Yes.
Okay, I will finish demonstrating that tomorrow night so you get a better idea of what I'm talking about. And I'll have the code back and we'll be able to do that next step. Because on the coding, the next step takes us into next week. Now, I am going to go over the assignment, though, a little clearer. This is just the touch on it tonight. Tomorrow night, it's going to be clear in depth of the assignment, as I mentioned earlier. Okay? So, do you guys have any questions at this point? I see we've lost some people. I do
No.
apologize. Huh?
I think we got it so far.
Okay. But you can see what happened when I copied and pasted that.
Yeah, copy paste don't do.
If we were using most other programs, it would work. With Dreamweaver's glitches, it didn't work. But you've seen it work in other points where it did work, right? Last week, I did it. This week, it chose not to do it. So, again, Dreamweaver is glitchy. Make your backups. Because now I've got to go back and recreate all that for tomorrow night.
That's gonna be fun.
Oh, it takes about 20 minutes. The more you practice, the quicker it gets. And because I've done this class enough, I knew what was, I didn't know where it was going to go wrong. Okay? But I knew it was going to go wrong when I started the copy paste, just not where. And that did it worse than ever because it got rid of 2 whole sections that are there but won't show up in Dreamweaver. Anyway, thank you guys for coming to class. And those that had to leave early, thank you for coming to class. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night.
I think everybody's about ready to go to sleep.
I think they are
Okay.
too.
Because I know here in Alabama, it is almost 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
It is
Alabama? Huh?
It is here too in Arkansas, but 5 a.m. is going to see me wide awake.
So sorry.
I know I don't sleep, so. Anyways, thank you guys for coming. Have a nice evening. And tomorrow night, we will continue this. And then we're going to get into the fun coding.
I'm not liking it so far.
It's just a matter of practice. Remember, level by level by level. Okay?
I have done everything I can possibly do. If you go look at what I turned in for week 1,
Okay?
the 768 keeps screwing up, and I was trying to do it as you was doing it again tonight, and it still kept messing up.
Okay.
Not
When was
doing
the last time you rebooted your computer?
I'm currently on my computer.
When was
haven't-
the last time you rebooted it, though?
I don't know.
Remember last week how I mentioned with this program, you need to reboot daily because it eats the memory. And when it does that, Dreamweaver decides to go flaky. It's already doing flaky stuff, but once you start running out of memory, it does a lot more crazy stuff.
Why y'all gotta make things so difficult for us?
We didn't. Dreamweaver did. So, and I'm also teaching you the troubleshooting as you're starting to see.
Yes.
So, thank you guys for coming, and I'll see you tomorrow night. And like I said, we'll continue from there.
All right. Good night.
Have a nice evening.